You are.
I'm Ray.
That's cool. What are we doing today?
Well, guys, welcome to the Weekend Movie Bros official review for The Mandalorian Season 1, which aired on Disney Plus from November 17th to December 27th. This is the first live action show created by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, written mostly by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, with the likes of Bryce Dallas Howard, Deborah Chow, Taika Waititi, Dave Filoni, Cary Fukunaga, and Rick Famuyiwa, and more others directing these episodes, starring Pedro Pascal. I'm losing my train of thought here. Carl Weathers, Nick Nolte, Taika Waititi, Gina Carano, and of course, baby fucking Yoda. Let's get into it, shall we?
We shall. We shall. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to go into our ranking of the episodes. And then we're going to do we're just going to go down some lists, and we're going to end with some season 2 predictions and things like that, things that we're going to be looking forward to. But in order for us to really talk about The Mandalorian, we should probably have a list of the episodes. So I pulled them up for us.
Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
So,
Say the number and I'll go to it.
in no particular order, my favorite episode of this show is Chapter 3, The Sin. So without saying much, this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen Mandalorian, I'm waving my hands while we're spoiling.
No,
Okay.
it's just this whole thing is a spoiler review. I mean, this right here, this symbol is a big spoiler. I mean, it's everywhere now, but still, it's a spoiler. So ultimately,
the reason, well, first off, Chapter 3, The Sin, was directed by Deborah Chow with a script written by Jon Favreau. This episode is mainly the likes of Werner Herzog, Carl Weathers, and Pedro Pascal, of course, as the Mandalorian. This is the episode where we see Mando taking the asset, aka the child, to the Imperials on the bounty hunting planet of
wherever that is.
I forget how the name of the planet's called. Anyways, it's the Guild planet, and he goes there and trades in the asset and gets his best car steel, takes it back to the Mandalorian, versus where he gets his fancy new awesome armor. But there's a great moment in this episode where Baby Yoda is trying to play with this little ball, and Mandalorian takes it away. And so when Mandalorian's about to leave, he reaches for the ball and realizes it's not there. His heart grows 3 sizes that day, and goes back and gets the child. And the best action scene of the show ensues with the bounty hunters fighting the Mandalorians, and it just kicks off from that point. I absolutely love this episode. It's my number one, and that's why it's my favorite episode of the season. What's yours?
My favorite episode of the season, I think, goes to the finale, Chapter 8, Redemption, which was directed by Taika Waititi and written by Jon Favreau.
Yes.
I want to say. Is that correct?
Yeah, Favreau wrote this one.
Yes, Jon Favreau. And it follows the after events of Chapter 7, The Reckoning, of where they go back to the place where it all started in the beginning of the season, which he was talking about, the Guild. And he comes face to face, basically, with an enemy he didn't realize that he already knew from a childhood experience in the past. And it's about them escaping, and there's a really good sacrifice. The action sequences in this are very well done. The CGI in this, I think, was the strongest it has been in almost all the episodes. Also, I really liked how we got to explore the mythology even more of not just the Mandalorians, but the world itself that they were on. I thought the lava river was so interesting and cool. And also, I really liked the R2D2 bot that could stand.
That came out of left field.
I was very impressed by that. It was just like the jet fighter the episode before, with the lings and things. I was just overall, I think it's by far the best episode out of the whole series. It was the first episode that I was like, okay, if there is no Baby Yoda in the in the second season, I won't continue. But this episode, I think it certified me that I will continue with going on with the TV show. I will continue to watch.
So, oddly enough, Chapter 8 Redemption is my number 2 of the season. I think this is the strongest finale to a Star Wars production I've seen in a while, and it's mainly due to Taika's directing. He is so strong in this episode. The cold open with the scout troopers is so funny, and I love how Taika makes them try to shoot the can, and they can't shoot it for no goddamn reason, and it just proves the point. Stormtroopers suck at their shot, and it was really good cold open, and I like the fact that Favreau let him have his moments as IG-11 in this episode. They were really strong. But the best moment of this episode is when the Mandalorian is injured and he's behind with IG-11, and IG-11 tells him, in order to heal you, I have to remove your helmet. And Mandalorian goes, well, Dur Jin goes, no living thing can see my face. And IG-11 just it's a perfect line. I am not a living thing. And it just showed instant respect between the two of them, and we finally get to see the Mandalorian's face. And I will give this show so much credit. It took them till the finale to reveal his face. We went the entire series without seeing his face, and I was so invested in that character. Bravo on them for doing that. But yeah, episode 8, and also we saw a dark saber. Why does Moff Gideon have a dark saber? How did he get a dark saber? Did he get it from Mandalore? We now know that the blue Mandalorians are Clan Vizsla. How did that happen? We thought they were overturned when Maul took over Mandalore. How is all that in turn? I'm so much Star Wars happened.
Zachary,
yeah,
we have a whole section for that. It's called Season 2 Thoughts.
I know, but it was going through my head while watching the episode.
I understand that. That's why it's called Season 2 Thoughts. Now we're moving on to rake episodes. We're not there yet.
Okay.
We'll be there in like 30 minutes. I promise. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My second favorite episode would probably be The Sin. Chapter 3. Just because the action sequence at the end was so strong, and also it does ricochet the story into new places, which I really like. The first 3 episodes are basically one big gigantic arc.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, with the 4th episode leading into a new area, introducing new characters and things, it was exciting, but you had to go through the final part, which I think was an excellent action sequence. And it deserves a higher spot on this list. So, what's your next episode?
My next, the episode after Chapter 7, Chapter 8 would be Chapter 7, The Reckoning. I thought it was a great penultimate episode, once again beautifully directed by Deborah Chow, written again by Jon Favreau. I thought the acting in this episode particularly was really, really strong, with Nick Nolte especially. And this is where we got our first real death of the show with Quill, and I wasn't expecting that at all. I really thought they were going to make it to the ship. I really like their plan to get in, and then we also got Werner Herzog, who got killed off by Moff Gideon, and I wasn't expecting that either. I really thought he would survive the entire show. It was just a really, really strong penultimate episode leading into the finale. And it left us on a really, 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 really good cliffhanger when they got Baby Yoda. And I really like Chapter 7. So that'd be my next one.
My next one, ironically, I think would also be Chapter 7, The Reckoning. For all the things Zachary had just said. So I really don't have anything else to add here. By this point, I was just happier it wasn't Chapter 6. So
we'll get there.
We'll get there. The next one?
The next one for me is Chapter 4. This was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard with, I believe, a script from both Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I think it was the two of them.
No, just John.
Just John.
Just John.
This was also the episode that introduced us to Gina Carano's character of Cara Dune, and I thought the introduction of Cara was very, very, very strong. This also gave us one of the best memes of Baby Yoda, which is him drinking the soup. Nolan, what's up? Eating my soup. And also, I thought that again, the ending action sequence of this episode very strong with the ATST. And we also got to see the Mandalorian, at peace, enjoying life, and I thought that was really cool. And it gave us more character with this guy, why he want to take the helmet off. The Mandalorian culture with that aspect. We got to know more about his thing with droids in this episode. So overall, really, really strong. I really like Chapter 4.
So my next episode would probably be Chapter 2, The Child. And the reason why is because we got to explore more of Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda was introduced in the very end of Chapter 1. I didn't really like a lot of Chapter 2. I thought it was quite boring. But even though the other episodes, such as Sanctuary and things like that, are more exciting and they added more proper things, I think knowing more and getting to see more of Baby Yoda really helped sell me on the TV show. And it could not have been done without Chapter 2 selling me even further.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there was a few developments here between Mando and the child, which I really liked. He was quite protective of it, even though by this point it was still a job. He wasn't fully
Invested yet.
Father figure. You could still see that he had a heart, which was nice for a bounty hunter. One would say maybe bad character, but maybe for a different conversation.
You took the words right out of my mouth. My next episode after that was Chapter 2. There are certain aspects of this episode, again, that brought a lot of light to the show, like what kind of show we were going to get. But it also wasn't. But this was also directed by Rick Famuyiwa, who is the first African American to direct Star Wars. So, bravo on that. But overall, the Baby Yoda stuff was really strong, but the rest of it I thought was just okay. It was boring, like you said. So that'll be my next one.
My next one would be the pilot episode, Chapter 1. I had a lot of problems with this episode after watching it on first viewing, and I still stay true to this day that if Baby Yoda was not introduced at the end of the first episode, I would not have continued forward. I found this episode to be quite dry, very boring, the characters uninteresting, and the action seems to be not as exhilarating as the trailers made them out to be. But because it did introduce Baby Yoda, it got approved more than any of the other episodes, which I'll get into the reason why all the middle episodes, like the true middle episodes, are ranked so low on my
list. So you took the words out of my mouth again. Chapter 1 is my next one. This was directed by Dave Filoni, and this definitely showed his directing chops. This is his first time directing live action. I thought the ending action sequence was really strong. And of course, we got to see that beautiful little child's face for the first time. And I liked IG-11 in the pilot. I thought IG-11 was really strong. But that's my next one, Chapter 1.
My next one would probably be Chapter 4, Sanctuary. I think out of the three that are, I guess, one-off episodes that do contribute somewhat to the story, this is the most we get to learn about it. I think Chapter 5, which we'll get to, has important story elements to it, but those weren't ever used, which is why it's ranked so low. Chapter 4, at least we did get to learn more about the mythology, like you said, a lot of things you said. Also, we got the cup meme, which took over the internet and still is being used. So, it'll be used way into 2020, and, it really did certify as this TV show as being somewhat of a hit, was with Sanctuary. And like I said before, it was the first episode outside of the norm that we were used to for the first 3 weeks. So I think that also plays in a factor as well.
So we're down to my last two, which are my least favorite two of the season. My next one is Chapter 6, the Prisoner. I hated this episode of the show. Hated it. I thought the use of cameos in this episode did not make sense. I think there were too many. It didn't feel. It felt. It didn't feel like the show. So I didn't like 5 at all. I mean, chapter 6 at all.
So my next one would be the Gunslinger, and that's simply for the reasons I mentioned before. As I was very enjoyed, I liked the few new characters that they involved in here. I thought they were really good. I liked the cameo who took over, who watched Baby Yoda for this episode, the older lady who I know is who is an older actress. I thought she was very well, she did really well here. But my problem with this is simply they set up something at the very end
And then
and
never did anything with it.
we never saw. And I'm sure it will. I'm sure this was a TV show that's like we got renewed. We need to build, some, other layers and stuff. And I'm sure we'll come back some point around to this. But as a TV show, it does follow somewhat of a formula. If you end on a cliffhanger, it's probably better if you. I personally would. I much preferred whatever was coming after this than The Prisoner.
Yeah.
In my personal taste.
So the episode I hated the most of this entire season was the Gunslinger. This was directed once again by Dave Filoni, with the script by Jon Favreau, and the guy who played the wannabe bounty hunter. I hated him. I hated him with passion. He was unnecessary. I thought it was kind of dull, and they wasted Ming Wei Wen. They wasted her. They set her up to be this badass bounty hunter, and they waste her. And then, like you said, they set up an after credit scene with her that we have no mention of the rest of the show. And I feel bad for her because she was really excited about being in Star Wars, and that was her moment. And they just, it was really, really, really aggravating. And also, the older lady, we disagree. I hated her. Her and her little droids, I thought it was aggravating.
I would also like to mention that out of all these episodes, Chapter 4, Chapter 5, and Chapter 6 felt like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes.
Whereas I feel like the first 3 and the last, Chapter 1 and Chapter 3, I think Chapter 2 also felt that way. And then the last 2 both felt like a much more adult and mature TV show, which is why I think these episodes were particularly...
They stood out.
They stood out for being not as good. This was a very boring period in The Mandalorian. These were weeks that we wanted something to happen and nothing was truly happening. Or when they thought, oh, this could lead to something, it never truly did lead to something. And, at least with Chapter 4, we did get to see that character come back.
Yeah.
That story was progressed, which I really liked. But I can't say that about every single, thing here. Chapter 6 was my least favorite, The Prisoner. I think there's a lot of elements here that I really liked. None of these episodes were horrible. I didn't hate the whole time I was watching The Prisoner, type of thing. I just thought it was overdone. I've seen it done time and time again in so many other TV shows, and quite frankly, I've seen it done better. Especially in the Clone Wars and animated Star Wars, they have done this storyline tomorrow, and they've done it better. And if you are a creator of those TV shows, you should know these. Like, this should be back of your hand. And so I was disappointed. It did give some kind of more mythology to the Mandalorian, with the character, the girl. There was some backstory there that he ran with them at some point in his life that we don't know about. So there was some type of but there was no payout for it. There's no... maybe these characters will come back in a later season. Like I said with the last one, it could lead to something. But I know you have to set up for a season 2, but I think episode 8 did a very good job of letting us know what we're getting into, that we don't need these breadcrumbs, personally.
I agree.
Because honestly, these are episodes I didn't like, and these are breadcrumbs I don't want to follow anymore. You had your chance. If you wanted to do something with them, you should have done something with them. And like I said, I think the Gunslinger ended so strongly that being a follow-up and being so poor, it did suck. Now, that being said, the action sequences were pretty good in this one. I really liked the light show that he did.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought it was really cool. There's a few cool moments. But I also didn't like how little use Baby Yoda had. and how predictable the
But
things.
also, Baby Yoda got the best moment of the episode when he was putting his hand out and Mandalorian shoots the droid and he goes,
Yes,
"Did I do that?"
I agree. And I mean, for these episodes, I really do think Baby Yoda was
He
the
was a
scene
standout.
sealer, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. I feel like there should be other moments. I shouldn't just be watching it for Baby Yoda. And I can officially say by the end of this TV show, I wasn't just watching it for Baby Yoda, which is good for The Mandalorian. All right, we're going to move on from ranking. That took a little longer than I was expecting, but you know what? That's okay. We're going to move on to our first and our favorite and least favorite moment of the episodes. You can go first. Just choose one because we are trying to keep it relatively not super duper long.
My favorite moment of the show was when Mando finally got to use a jetpack. Seeing Mando use his jetpack for the first time to go off against and fight Moff Gideon was a really cool moment. But my my favorite moment of this show, absolute favorite moment of the show, was IG-11 sacrifice. I felt like it was earned. I felt that Taika's performance was really strong. But what I also loved about it was the when we started the show, Mandalorian hated droids, hated them to death, and within that 20-minute timeline with the two of them, he grew to instantly love this droid because of how much it protected him and protected the kid, and he didn't want it to happen. And my favorite line was when "Don't cry, it's okay." And Mando goes, "I'm not crying." He's like, "I know you are. I registered how you speak." I love that. And then this is where and the effects in this part were really good. Like when he steps into the lava and you slowly see him melting down and going away. And I was like, great moment. Great moment in Star Wars. I really like that moment in Star Wars.
Your worst moment?
My worst moment, the after credits scene of episode 5. Waste of time. Waste of time. They set her up for jack shit. Really made me mad.
It's understandable. My favorite moment goes to the little guy. I'm sorry, there's a lot of this TV show that I truly watched just for Baby Yoda. So, take it as you will. But I feel like I have two. I have one for Baby Yoda, which is when he pokes his head down and he goes and flies the plane. I think it's amazing. It's a great moment. Also, the when he switches the lights on and things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, those two good moments I think are some of my favorite moments for Baby Yoda. We'll get to Baby Yoda. He gets his own section, but I figured I'd mention him here just for a tad bit. But also, I feel like either the final battle scene in this episode, in episode 8 that just premiered, or in episode 3 with all the jetpacks and stuff. I think those were solidified moments of this is an excellent TV show, and that these are moments that people are going to continue to talk about for a while to come. For worst favorite moment, I have to agree. I mean, it was either all of episode 7. Yeah, I didn't really like any character that they introduced. There's a few like we talked about, a few cute
Episode 7?
no, episode 6. Sorry. A few cute like Baby Yoda moments in episode 6. That's the prisoner. That's the one with the prison. But overall, I think it was truly a bad episode. And then also, like you mentioned, why set up for things that you're not going to follow through on? You guys don't have 30 episodes to be able to do that.
No.
It's just not possible.
Know your runtime. Don't waste our time. Know your runtime and get to where we need to go.
So that's my opinion on my least. And so moving on to the little guy himself. And because he is baby fucking Yoda, and yes, guys, that says baby fucking Yoda. Kappa, come for me. I don't care.
Come at me, Kappa.
I have decided to go to Google and go to Baby Yoda
I mean, look at him.
to bring you the meme itself.
Look at him.
The scene with this episode where he pushes back the fire was everything I've ever wanted.
So was that? So were you satisfied with your Baby Yoda moment in the episode? As soon as that started happening, I was like, Jacob's getting his moment. He's getting it.
Look at him.
He's just, oh, pick that one.
This one?
Yeah. He looks so fucking cute. Look for the one where he's standing upside down.
Oh, upside down, baby. Here, maybe if I type in
Upside down, Baby Yoda.
this also could turn out to be really bad. There he is.
My favorite thing about this is that he's checking to make sure no one's going to come up on him. He's like, okay. Whoosh.
It's just so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute.
It's a crime how cute he is.
Okay. Now that we know what Baby Yoda is, who he looks like, hold on. Those are some really creepy pictures. Let me go backwards. Let me go backwards again. Okay. Now that we know what he is, and things like that, Baby Yoda himself, what are your thoughts on the creature? Are you happy that we have the creature? What are your...
I love this thing because it's adding mythology to Star Wars. It's adding like ideas and concepts of this character now. And it's just I don't know. I love this thing so much. I want to hold him in my hands and go, "It's okay, buddy. You're gonna be protected. You have your father now. You have a sigil on his arm. You are his child. You will be protected by your father." I love it. I love it to death. It's the best thing of the year.
Now, I do have a few questions, and we'll get into it. You can talk more about it in your overall thoughts. That's your, if that's what you want to do. Were you mad he didn't speak?
No.
Okay, because I did see a little bit on Twitter how some people were somewhat upset that he didn't speak. But are
No,
you happy that
because
we're going to be training him?
yes. Now, the
Without
reason I'm
jumping,
happy he didn't speak is because I think it would have took away from him if he started talking. I like knowing that he's smart, but I also have to remember he's an infant. He is a 50-year-old infant.
he looks 50. Look at that face. It's cute but wrinkled.
But I think people just keep forgetting just because he's 50 years old doesn't mean that, he may be 50 in his age, but for all we know, he's like 1.5 in Baby Yoda time. Yeah, in his time. So maybe they don't start speaking at that age. Maybe I guarantee you he'll be a little bit older when we get back to him in season 2.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Baby Yoda and our theories and things, what we think should happen, if we don't think it should happen. I have a few ideas. I have a few thoughts and opinions. But overall, I think Baby Yoda is an amazing thing, and it truly did help move forward this TV show. I know quite a few different people who would not have continued on if Baby Yoda didn't happen. And so technically, it did save The Mandalorian. But by the end, I didn't need Baby Yoda to continue to watch Mandalorian. So it needed it in the beginning, but by the end, I think it came to its own, which I think is a great accomplishment and a great thing to say about the TV show. Moving on to our overall thoughts. Now, with overall thoughts, we're gonna go full screen. You're gonna get a few minutes on it, and then we're gonna move on. Is how it's gonna work.
Are we giving it a number out of 10?
Yes, you can rate. Now, this is not for episodes. This is overall full season number. If I told you how to rate it out of 10, what would you give it?
Okay. So, hi guys. So, The Mandalorian season 1. High expectations going into this show. I subscribed to a year of Disney Plus for this show, and I'm very happy to say that my money was well worth it. This show is funny at times, it's sad at times, it's got some really good action sequences, but not without its flaws, and that's okay. It is by far, besides Jedi Fallen Order, the best thing Star Wars has done all year. It gave us baby fucking Yoda, and it gave me a new character to care about. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this adventure takes us in fall of 2020. So, with that being said, I give The Mandalorian Season 1 a 9.75 out of 10. It has flaws, but 9.75 is too high. 9. I'll give it a 9. It's got its flaws. It's definitely not a perfect show, but it's what I needed as a Star Wars fan to get back into the lore. So 9 out of 10.
Okay, hi guys, how you doing? Let me know in the comments down below. But overall, my overall thoughts for The Mandalorian are very simple. Um, it was a TV show that I wasn't really entirely sure if I wanted to watch at all. I was actually going to skip it. I didn't like any of the trailers and things. It wasn't going to be one for me. They introduced me to baby fucking Yoda, and baby fucking Yoda changed my whole entire life. I didn't know I loved the creature so much, except for Detective Pikachu. So I kind of did know I could love a creature that much, but I wasn't entirely sure. But overall, with the TV show in general, without Baby Yoda in itself, I personally thought it was okay. I thought there wasn't any moment that was super duper strong until the end, which is really sad when there's 8 episodes. Also, I'm sorry, it was an annoying thing. A TV show needs to know its runtime. If you have 20-minute episodes, you have 20-minute episodes. If you have 40 to 50-minute episodes, you have 40 to 50-minute episodes. This is a TV show that I felt like the pacing was off, and I felt like it did not know its runtime. And I think that faults it. I really hope it learns from us telling it, hey, you're doing mistakes, listen to us. And by the end, we did grow to longer and longer episodes. And I think this is a TV show that could really helm from longer episodes. I also really did enjoy watching it weekly. I feel like if I would binge watch this whole thing, I would have rated it lower, and I think I would have saw its flaws without having to watch every episode weekly. You get that first experience, that first natural reaction without having to actually think back on it, which is really nice. And it goes back to these moments where you rank things where it's, a nice clarity. But overall, my score out of 10 is probably a 7, a 7.2. 7.2 out of 10.
Why'd you mute my mic?
Oh, because I could hear you doing things. So I just kept me
That's
quiet.
okay. That's fair.
All right, moving on to the last section of this review, which is season 2 thoughts. These are overall opinions, what we think could happen, what we don't think could happen, what we're excited to see, things we grew on. My only personal thing that I'm really, really excited for that I'll mention right here, then Zachary can take the stage or whatever with all of his Star Wars fan theories that I just don't know about because I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, is the fact I'm very happy that we're going to find more baby Yodas. Like, there's a colony, and I need to see it, and I can't wait for that moment. Also, the fact that we're going to train all those little baby Yodas. Oh my God. Can we get a baby Yoda army? Like, seriously? Like, we would all die. And also, like I said, the ending was very cool. It was very shocking with the saber Sith. Saber lightsaber.
Dark Saber.
Thank you. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool looking. I also didn't really think visually it was a nice standout. I think it looked a little weird, but overall, I'm excited to see it, though. Yeah, I'm excited to see where the story goes, but mostly with Baby Yoda. Even though I like the characters, I'm excited to see them progress. Baby Yoda is why I'm watching this show. Baby Yoda will continue to be, especially with season 2. Oh, they set the bar real high.
Okay, guys. So let's get into this. If you know Rebels and you know Clone Wars, you know what I'm going to bring up. So Moff Gideon is an actual character from lore, and in lore, he was on the Siege of Mandalore during season 5 of the Clone Wars. He was there when Countess died in Obi-Wan's arms when Maul took over. He was there to witness when the Darksaber was taken. Now, if we're going off the Rebels part of it, the last person to have the Darksaber was it was the bounty hunter that's with the crew on the Ghost. Sabine. The last person that we saw with the Darksaber was Sabine's Mama Mandalore. Now, does that mean that Dur Jin, the Mandalorian, is from that time and that he was training during that time and place? and or whatever. That's all confusing. I'm excited about that. The dark saber alone is incredible to see. Um, we know about those EB cannons and how they act. I hope we learn more about Cara Dune's backstory as a rebel shock trooper. Like, was she there during? Yeah, that thing. So I'm hoping we get to see more of. So that's Sabine's mom. And we've also seen Count Vizsla use the dark saber. So I'm wondering if maybe Vizsla's crew is working with Moff Gideon. That might be a possibility. There's also a good chance now that maybe Sabine could show up in season 2 of Mandalorian, which would be really fucking cool. And then, like you just said, Baby Yoda. Will this be the first time that a foundling is a Yoda species and he'll be a Mandalorian? Does that mean they have to make a special shaped Mandalorian helmet for him with his ears that he will never be able to take off again to reveal to his face? Think about that for a second, Jake. Do you want an entire army of Mandalorian Yodas with the helmet on? Then do you
I
want your
just want an entire army of Baby Yodas.
okay, fine, but
I could buy 40 of them.
there's so much to talk about. I really don't know where to start. The dark saber is my big thing. What's going to happen with that? Is IG-11 really gone? Will we see Dur Jin's face again, or was that the last time we get to see his face? Also, I felt some chemistry between Cara Dune and the Mandalorian. Will they add on to that at all during season 2? I'm really curious about that. Will we see more of Carl Weathers? Will we see more of the Guild? Will Ming Wei Wen show up? All this and more in fall of 2020, which we did get confirmed today that fall of 2020 is when season 2 starts. So I'm guessing around November, December will be season 2.
Now, are you excited that you get to theorize about Star Wars again?
Yes.
So strongly.
Yes.
Good.
I get to theorize about this and Jedi Fallen Order. I don't have to theorize about films for 2 years, and I'm fine by that.
Well, guys, I think that brings us to the end of the Mandalorian review, season 1 overall. Like I said, our final thoughts is I gave it a 7.2. I do recommend it if you have Disney Plus. Totally quick play in case you're apprehensive. Zachary?
9 out of 10. Highly recommend it. If you're a Star Wars fan and you need some to hold over you for a little bit, definitely spread this show out. You got 8 episodes. Watch one once a month. Enjoy it. Theorize about the next episode. Do whatever you want to do.
Well, we can't really technically theorize it since we spoiled the whole TV show for them, but you know.
That's fair. But go ahead and go enjoy the show, guys. Really, really enjoy it. Star Wars is back in a new kind of way, and I'm really excited about to see this. But this also confirmed a very sad thing. Kenobi won't come out till 2021.
Also, I do want to mention I'm very excited to rewatch The Mandalorian.
Yeah, the rewatchability on this show is really strong. Like I know sometime probably in January or February, I'm gonna go, you know what? Time to rewatch Mandalorian again. Just click on episode 1 and keep going.
Well,
I'm looking forward
guys,
to it.
if you guys enjoyed this, go ahead and do all the fun YouTube things such as what, Zachary?
Like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell. See our latest videos.
Alrighty. Now what we're gonna do, because there's always a little pause, we're gonna sing a little song. So here we go.